There's something sacred about a blank page. It doesn't judge. It doesn't interrupt. It just waits quietly for you to show up. Some mornings I sit with pen in hand, not sure what I'm even feeling. And then a few lines in, something shifts. The fog clears. The noise quiets. And it feels like my thoughts finally have somewhere to live outside my head.
That's not just poetry, it's neuroscience. When you write, you activate networks across the brain. The language centers, the emotion circuits, the memory pathways. It's like your mind is untangling itself one sentence at a time.
And what's beautiful is how universal it is. From Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, to monks copying reflections by candlelight, and to teenagers pouring heartbreak into a notebook. Writing has always been the human way of asking, who am I really?
Every generation discovered it differently, but modern science now tells us why it works. Journaling doesn't just record your thoughts, it reorganizes them. It helps the emotional brain hand the pen to the rational one.
Maybe that's why, in a world that's louder than ever, the quiet act of writing feels like rebellion.
In this episode, we'll explore how 5 minutes of writing can rewire the brain for calm, clarity, and courage. We'll trace its roots, from ancient wisdom to modern labs, and uncover the simple techniques that make journaling work.
So, find a quiet space, take a breath, and let's begin the story of how writing helps you meet yourself, one page at a time.
Long before we had therapy, before self-help books or podcasts like this one, humans wrote. They wrote prayers, lists, reflections, letters to the divine, or to themselves. In ancient Egypt, people kept dream journals, believing their subconscious was a message from the gods. In Greece, philosophers like Socrates and Plato wrote dialogues to organize thought and search for truth.
And then came the Stoics, the original masters of reflective journaling. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Meditation's not for readers, but for himself." A private record of humility, fear, and self-discipline. He wasn't trying to be perfect. He was trying to understand his own mind.
And that's the essence of journaling. Reflection as self-regulation. Each word is a mirror. Each line, a small act of alignment between what you think and what you truly feel.
Centuries later, monks copied sacred texts by candlelight. Their writing wasn't about productivity or achievement. It was meditation in motion, a rhythm between hand, ink, and breath.
And in modern times, journaling evolved again. In the late 1980s, psychologist Dr. James Pennebaker discovered something remarkable. Writing about difficult emotions, not just recording events, could improve immune function, lower blood pressure, and even accelerate physical healing.
That's when science caught up with wisdom. Writing didn't just feel therapeutic, it was. By putting emotion into language, the body and mind found order again.
The act of journaling bridges ancient introspection and modern neuroscience, a timeless reminder that clarity begins on paper.
So when you pick up your pen, you're joining a lineage thousands of years old. Humans trying to understand themselves one word at a time.
Every time you write a word, your brain lights up like a constellation. Different regions, the hippocampus, amygdala, and prefrontal cortex, begin to dance together. The hippocampus organizes memory. The amygdala, your emotional alarm system, begins to calm. And the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your mind, steps in to make sense of it all.
So writing literally rewires your internal conversation. When emotions feel overwhelming, the act of naming them gives your brain a sense of control. Instead of feelings spinning in the dark, they become language. And language is something the mind can manage.
Scientists call this cognitive offloading. It's like transferring heavy files from your brain to an external drive, freeing mental space, reducing rumination, and lowering physiological stress markers like cortisol.
No wonder we feel lighter after journaling. Our minds are no longer trying to hold everything at once.
And that lightness isn't just emotional, MRI studies show consistent writing practice strengthens connectivity between the prefrontal cortex and limbic regions, literally improving emotional regulation and problem solving.
It's fascinating, because journaling doesn't require a therapist, a lab, or an app, just paper, patience, and honesty.
Even handwriting plays a role. Unlike typing, writing by hand engages sensory and motor pathways, creating what neuroscientists call embodied cognition. You're not just thinking, you're physically shaping thought into form.
Maybe that's why it feels so grounding. Each stroke of the pen is a small declaration. I'm here. I'm processing. I'm real.
In simple terms, journaling is mindfulness in motion. It's your nervous system exhaling through the rhythm of ink and breath.
And what begins as scribbles and sentences becomes something sacred, a dialogue between your conscious and unconscious selves. Sometimes the act of writing feels small, a few sentences in a notebook, a thought you didn't know you had until you saw it on paper. But the science says otherwise. Each time you journal, your mind performs a kind of emotional surgery. You open a wound safely, and then you give it air, language, and space to heal.
That's why psychologists call it emotional regulation through narrative. When you translate raw emotion into structured language, the amygdala, your brain's alarm system, quiets down, and the prefrontal cortex, your reasoning center, lights up. Writing doesn't erase pain, it reprocesses it. It takes something chaotic and turns it into coherence.
That's powerful, because most anxiety and overwhelm come from unprocessed stories, loops that replay in the background. But when you write them down, you see them from the outside. You shift from being in the storm to observing it from the shore.
It's not just emotional. Studies show people who journal regularly sleep better, focus longer, and show measurable improvements in immune response.
It's as if the body finally gets the message. You're safe now. You've named it.
That's the healing mechanism of words. They don't just describe reality, they change how the brain perceives it. This is why journaling feels like clarity. It's your prefrontal cortex reorganizing chaos into meaning.
And meaning is medicine. Once something makes sense, you stop fighting it.
That's why, in cognitive therapy and modern psychology, journaling is often the first step in transformation. Because change begins when your inner dialogue becomes conscious.
And maybe that's what journaling really is. Yeah, a conversation between who you are and who you're becoming.
So, how do you actually begin? The beauty of journaling is that it has no single form. It can be structured or free, digital or on paper. There is no right way, only your way. Let's explore a few methods that science and centuries of human experience say truly work.
Created by Julia Cameron in The Artist's Way, morning pages are 3 pages of stream of consciousness writing. First thing in the morning, no editing, no overthinking, just emptying the mind onto the page.
The goal isn't perfection, it's purging. Cognitive scientists say this clears mental clutter and activates the brain's creative default network, which helps you solve problems and generate ideas.
Think of it like brushing your teeth, but for your mind.
Another simple but powerful form is gratitude journaling. List 3 things you're thankful for and why they mattered that day. Studies from Harvard and Berkeley show this boosts dopamine and serotonin, training your brain to scan for positivity.
It's like reprogramming your mental search engine. Instead of defaulting to what's wrong, you start noticing what's right.
Then there's cognitive journaling, a structured form used in cognitive behavioral therapy. You record a situation, the thoughts it triggered, the emotions that followed, and the evidence for and against those thoughts. It's a logic check for the mind, and over time, it trains you to separate fact from fear.
That's powerful. On a brainstorm. Because when you see your own thinking clearly, you're no longer trapped inside it.
One of the oldest and most emotional techniques, is letter journaling, writing to your past or future self. You might write, "To the person I used to be, thank you for surviving." Or, "To my future self, I hope you remember how far we've come." It's not just reflection, it's integration. It helps you bridge who you were, who you are, and who you're becoming.
And then there's prompted journaling. A single guiding question each day. What did I learn today? What drained me? What gave me energy? These prompts turn introspection into habit, a microdose of mindfulness that compounds over time.
Whether it's free flow or structured, emotional, or analytical, each method shares one purpose: to create space between stimulus and response.
Because in that space, between what happens and how you react, is where peace begins.
Now that you know why journaling works, let's talk about how to make it stick. Here's a simple 7-day protocol to help you build the habit gently and intentionally.
Start with no rules, set a timer for 10 minutes and just write whatever surfaces. Thoughts, feelings, random words, and it doesn't matter. The goal is to release, not to impress. When you stop, notice how your body feels. That's awareness beginning to grow.
Write down 3 things you appreciated in the last 24 hours, big or small. For each, add why it mattered. This conditions the brain to recognize positive patterns even on difficult days.
Ask yourself, what emotion has been leading me today? Write without judgment. Name it, explore it, let it speak. Sometimes clarity is just giving a feeling a place to land.
Use the CBT format today. Describe a situation that triggered stress. Then list the thought you had, the emotion that followed, the evidence for that thought, and the evidence against it. You'll start seeing how perception shapes emotion and how perspective can rewire reaction.
Repeat day 2, but add one new element. Write a note of gratitude to yourself for showing up, for trying, for healing. It's small, but the subconscious hears every word.
Write a letter dated 1 year from now. Describe the person you hope to become, what you've learned, and what you've let go of. Seal it, digitally or on paper, and revisit it next year.
Look back on your week. Notice how your tone changed from day 1 to day 7. Circle words or patterns that repeat. Those are the hidden messages your mind has been whispering all along.
You've now completed 7 days of conscious self-dialogue. This is more than writing. It's reconnection.
And if you keep going, you'll discover that journaling isn't just a practice. It's a quiet relationship with your inner world. If you've made it this far, you've done more than just listen to a podcast. You've held a mirror to your own mind. Maybe you wrote a line or two this week. Maybe you just thought about what you'd write. Either way, that's where transformation begins. Because journaling isn't about perfect sentences or poetic words. It's about honesty. It's a safe place to say what you can't say out loud. And in that truth, healing quietly begins.
Every page you fill is a conversation with your future self. It's a record of how you felt, what you feared, and what you learned to let go of. Years from now, you'll look back and realize you were rewriting your story 1 line at a time.
Because when you write, you integrate. Your thoughts, your emotions, your lessons, they all find their rhythm.
So, keep a notebook by your bed, or on your desk, or in your car. And when life feels loud, give your thoughts a page to land on.
Remember, sometimes the page listens better than the world.
If you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who could use a moment of stillness too. And if you decide to start your 7-day journaling challenge, tag us or leave a comment. We'd love to hear what the page taught you.
Next week, we'll explore something new: the hidden connection between stillness and creativity. Until then, take a breath, pick up your pen, and meet yourself again on the page.